Hello, everyone. I'm Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Facebook Live. I have my friend Diane Kazer on today to talk with me. Diane, say hi. Okay, let me fix this. I think I have to split the screen here. Okay, there we go. Now she's coming on. How are you?
Well, here I am. I'm great now that we're side by side.
We're together, side by side.
Yay!
So Diane, so why don't you introduce yourself to everyone? And I have you, I wanted to talk to you today to discuss how we're dying to be beautiful. And I just love the messaging that you have around this, where you're talking about your own kind of experience with breast implant illness and, med spa treatments and all this stuff that so many women do today that makes them really, really sick. And they don't realize that it's contributing to their health issues. So just tell us how you got involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. As with many things, our pain becomes a purpose, and it became very, very passionate, a journey of mine to help other women experience the transformation, just like what happened with me. So I was pretty sick. I was very sick, actually. I don't want to underplay it at all. What I don't want to do is shame anybody, and I don't want to send anybody into a massive fear spiral. So take everything that Wendy and I are talking about today with a grain of Himalayan sea salt.
Yeah.
Make sure it's the healthy salt, right? So I most of my life, I think since the time that many of us, you go through high school and you're like, I'm not popular, I'm not beautiful. And it depends on what state you were raised in. It depends, and I mean like geographical state, right? Not emotional state. Of course, that does too. Depends on what country you were raised in. But for me, I was born and raised in California. And California is this sunshine state where we wear bikinis a lot. And I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, but the beach is right there. And
we live in them over here.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we wear bikinis to the gym. No, but it's true. Like here in California, California dictates a lot of like what is beauty, right, out there, because Hollywood's here and LA is here, and a lot of pop culture is here. So I was a part of that. From the very age of 13, I was like, I'm not enough, and this I'm not enough is at the core root of why so many of us are dying to be beautiful. But I found that 96% of women don't think they're beautiful. And I think, when people have been so surprised to hear that statistic, I think it comes with a sharp blade of denial, not realizing that we are picking and poking and prodding at ourselves all day long. Like 90% of our thoughts are limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging. So this is not just like, oh, I don't do Botox, or oh, I don't do breast implants, or oh, I don't do all those things. A lot of the things that we're doing, makeup, the hair products we're using, the dyes, the lotions, the things that we take bubble baths in. So many of these things, even just in the whole care, beauty care, right now it's more beauty careless because there's a lot of toxins and chemicals. So what happened with me is that I moved to Orange County from Sacramento 10 years ago, looked around, went, well, I guess getting fake boobs is the thing to do in these parts. So you become a product of your own environment, right? You're like, okay, I guess I got to keep up with everybody around me.
It's shocking how many women have breast implants in Southern
5 to
California.
10%.
It's amazing.
Well, probably higher in California, Wendy, but I know the statistics is really hard to say, but 5 to 10% of women have breast implants, whether it's from mastectomy or cosmetic reasons, right? So, and again, this is not about if you have breast implants, you're a terrible person. But because both Wendy and myself had them, and I'll never forget the day you were texting me when I was laying in bed, and that was the very beginning of when I started getting sick. I actually, and I'm still at this, I'm not sure, Wendy, because you know how we talk so much, both of us talk so much about toxins, and it's not like you can't really say it's one thing or it's another thing. It's like this toxic bucket overfilled. Recently, I discovered the really massive side effects of Botox. So when I was the sickest that I started to become, when I was texting about you removing your breast implants, I tracked back all of that, and that's right around the time that I started doing Botox also. So was I sick from the Botox? Was I sick from the breast implants? Was I sick from the personal care products I was using? Was I sick because of the toxins that were in my cosmetics? probably all of the above, right? But I got really sick, and I really traced it back to the two main ones being Botox and breast implants.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I did Botox for a really long time, from when I was 25 to, I don't know, I didn't, after I gave birth to Winter, I was pregnant with my daughter about 10 years ago. But I did it from, 10 years, almost over 10 years. And I always wondered, looking back, did that contribute to any of my symptoms, or fatigue or brain fog or bitchiness or what have you? Never bitchy.
The inner bitch.
Yeah, but I know, hard to believe.
It's not me, it's my Botox. That's being bitchy.
Yeah, and so, but I just think so many women are doing so many different treatments. Let's talk about breast implant illness first, but so many women are doing, fillers and injections and Botox and all kinds of strange things, like Kybella, getting rid of their fat underneath their chin, and all these injecting all these strange things that probably don't have a ton of long-term studies behind. But what was your experience with Botox? Like, what are some of the symptoms of, maybe negative effects of Botox?
Yeah, Botox is a nasty one. So Botox contains an ingredient called botulinum toxin, and that is the same ingredient that they used in the Gulf War to paralyze their troops and to harm them and to contain them and to control them. So how did it end up in our cosmetic routines and our medical injections, which, medical injections, they use 10 to 20 times more than they would for cosmetic purposes. So you're talking about little children, young kids, moms getting injected, and it paralyzes a lot of organs. So that's the primary concern that I have, Wendy, is there is now a growing group of inside of Facebook. I think there's close to now 6,000 people who have all been harmed by Botox. Some of them are asking the question, have you been harmed by Botox? But what they did in that group is there was 1,000 people that were surveyed by the person who runs that group. So we can't say it is a study, right? There's no science behind this. What it is just like the breast implant illness conglomeration of symptoms. We're coming together as people and we're going, wait a second, me too. Like, I have those symptoms too. When did it start? Oh, it was in a couple of weeks after I got Botox. Oh, and then they put it together. They surveyed over 1,000 people. What they came back with were very similar to the black box warnings in terms of the side effects that Botox has. So Botox, what we're told, and this is what really pisses me off, is that you go into any med spa, and this has been my own consistent experience. Every med spa, every injector, every person I've worked with, even MDs and surgeons have said it does not spread from the site that is injected. In 2009, the FDA mandated that the black box warnings state that it may spread. And if it does, the side effects would be things like paralysis of the organs that it spreads to. So one of the primary things that people are experiencing now who get Botox is when it travels, it goes to other parts of your body. It will move into your colon, causing constipation. And interestingly, a lot of people get hemorrhoids and anal fissures from constipation, right? They use Botox to treat anal fissures. But then when they use Botox, it could cause paralysis of the colon. So we've got that going on. The same drug that is supposedly helping to fix something can actually cause another symptom that's very similar to it. It's a paradox. It could also travel to other parts of your body too, like your bladder. And so you could have a frozen bladder and symptoms of that, like urinary tract infections, extreme pain. It can move to your lungs, it can move to your heart, it can move to your throat. So a lot of people are experiencing like they can't swallow. Like, it feels like things get stuck and they're trapped. Or they have a hard time taking a deep breath, whether it's from an obstruction or just that your lungs aren't pumping as they should. And so you have a hard time taking a deep breath. You have more short, laborious breath where you actually have to consciously say to yourself, take a deep breath. And I completely resonate with this because that's what's been scary. I'm like, why do I just stop breathing? Well, hey, Diane, it could just be because you're an anxious person maybe, or because you're stressed or you're busy. You start to hear people tell these stories. Oh, it's probably because of this. Look, you guys, if you want to get Botox and if that's what you need to do, that's fine. But what I'm here to share with you is these symptoms that sometimes you really need to experience, I guess, before you make the decision that it's not for you. So there's like almost 60 symptoms, I believe, that I just shared on my podcast that many of these people have experienced consistently. Another big one is rashes. And this is the one that was absolutely miserable for me. And I was itching all over my body. Like I could not itch myself to where I felt like I was satisfied. I was itching until I bled in multiple areas of my body. This was within 3 weeks after I had had the most amount of Botox injected in my forehead and all around my face, before I had just done a couple little spots on my 11s. And then the woman that I went to used 10 times more than the first 2 times I just used it for the 11s. Although I had symptoms after those first 2, but then when she had used them, and she was not a doctor, she was a practitioner, and she said, it doesn't spread. She went all around my face. It's probably about 25 or 30 injections instead of just a few. And I was like, this feels like a lot of injections. Within 3 weeks, that's when I found myself in my bed, unable to sleep, rolling around, miserable. I thought maybe it was my skincare routine. Maybe it was my cosmetics. So I switched all of that out. The more that I did lymphatic detox and like dry brushing and massaging, the more it spread those toxins. And so that's really important for everybody to know, because that's exactly what I did to myself. I thought, okay, maybe I just need to detox this stuff out. Maybe it's parasites. Maybe I'm itching because I've got parasites. So, you and me, Wendy, we do all these digging labs and trying to figure out what's going on. I couldn't figure out what's going on with me. 2 urgent care trips later, 2 rounds of prednisone later, and I was finally feeling better. But I started to look extremely old at that point because I was doing all these things trying to figure it out. And prednisone ages you from the inside out. So there's a lot more too. There's like the ringing in the ears, the hair starts to fall out. I had one client who I just worked with, and she's on the mend. This is on my Facebook page, Diane Kazer Wellness, if you want to hear her journey. She was pregnant, and she was doing this before she just got pregnant for migraines. And when we started working with her, we worked with her before she got her breast implants out. She was doing Botox as well. She got her breast implants out and got more sick. So I don't want to discourage you guys from removing your breast implants, but she got more sick because she had a concoction of breast implants, and she had medication she was taking to numb herself to fall asleep, which is the date rape drug essentially. And she was also doing Botox. So she lost 50 pounds. She was skin and bones. She thought she was going to die. Within 4 months, we brought her back to life. She gained 50 pounds, and her son is now back to life. Whenever he tried to go breastfeed on her nipple, would turn his head away, and that was right after she had Botox injections. So this stuff is lethal, and it does not belong anywhere in our body.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm so happy that I kind of snapped out of feeling the need to do that. And I'm just totally happy with the wrinkles on my face. Well, you can't see mine now because there's a big old light on them. There's a big light.
I love your lines.
Blurring it out. But yeah, I'm going to get the crossword puzzle, and that's just, I'd rather that than some crazy symptom. Because I had one client that her husband got Botox for migraines, and now he's a paraplegic. No joke. And I mean, this happened within a couple of days of getting like 17 injections for migraines. And so you just don't know if that's going to be you or if your number's up. And it just happens in a small percentage of people, but I think there's a lot of other symptoms that like kind of low grade clinical ones that happen to people that could be anything that they tie to other things or blame on other things.
Yeah, I can list several of them for you, or I can send you the image that I created. The list is very long, so if you'd like, would you like me to share a couple others so people can hear it?
Yes. Yeah, well, I have that photo. I downloaded it. So I was like, ooh, This is juicy. So I'll post that in the comments here. Also.
You basically feel like you have the flu and you vomit. I mean, you don't always vomit, but you can share all of that. The biggest thing to understand too about this is that it dries your body out. And they've seen, I think it's like 75% or so people who have had Botox report extremely dry bodies, dry eyes, droopy eyes. A lot of people are having to take, eye drops to undroop their eyes. And so it's said that you need more and more Botox over time in order to keep the face lifted, because it continues to freeze those organs or those pieces of your face. And we have no idea Botox will ever leave the body. No idea. One of the woman that I interviewed for that episode, she's now 5 years post Botox and finally feels like she's on the mend. She had to quit her job. She's a therapist, a psychologist, I believe, and she had to quit her job. People are having to quit their job in the name of beauty.
Yeah, I actually experienced that. I always felt like I had really dry eyes and could feel scar tissue in my eyes because I had, surgery to fix my vision. For
Yeah,
years and years, I don't have it anymore. But I did used to have that symptom a lot. It's really irritating. So that could have been it. But it's like that's one of those mild symptoms that people just are not going to put those pieces together. You
exactly.
know?
And that's the scary part is that people go, oh, well, my eyes are dry. It must just be dry outside. And we make these stories up about our symptoms when really our symptoms are here and they're trying to communicate to us. And that's what I really want to bring across to everybody is that your symptoms are trying to say something. And there is a constellation of symptoms for specific things, especially in toxic beauty, where they're trying to say, okay, these breast implants are causing this or Botox is causing this. And to wake up and you can look at this list that Wendy will share with you and you can make your own reasoning and go, oh my gosh, well, this explains a lot because many people are out there, no answers. They're just going from doctor to doctor, from functional medicine doctor to naturopathic doctor to allopathic doctor to surgeon. And people are going, I mean, it says that it's safe and only 0.1% of people get flu-like symptoms. So, it must be something else. Here's an antidepressant, or
Yeah.
here's some gabapentin, and here's some Xanax. So, put you out of your misery so you don't think anymore. But really, we want you to think and have discernment.
Yeah. And here's some more Botox while you're at it.
Yeah.
10%
freeze your
off.
thoughts. Just freeze your thoughts.
Go on. Get a coupon for 10 units on.
Oh, Wendy.
How many clinics advertise on Groupon? I mean, how many times have women going on looking for the deal, but they're usually getting a nurse practitioner that doesn't have the experience that a medical doctor does in doing this, and where to inject it exactly, and where not to inject it. I got it once, and my eyebrow was drooping. Oh, hi, my daughter's making.
Hi,
Winter. Yeah. So.
She can't hear us.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful.
Go to karate.
How's that for anti-aging right there? She's like, I'm never gonna do Botox.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
I just texted Sam.
Okay, great. Hey, honey. Yeah, so I'd done Botox. Like I had one eyebrow up here, and then one was down here. I was like, oh, that's great because I have to be on camera all the time. And that it took a little while to go away, but I had to go back, and then they do another injection that gets, I guess, reverses the Botox.
Right. That's what I had to do too.
Yeah.
And then it got worse. It totally got worse. And Wendy, here's what you were just saying about the advertisements, right? In the UK, they can't advertise Botox. It is against the law. The law is different in the UK. Speaking of beauty, there's 1,300 plus toxins that they don't allow in beauty care products in the UK, whereas in America, we've only banned 36. It changed a little bit recently, but look at the disparaging numbers there. And then the other thing is that recently I just found out, someone sent me this link. There is a cheaper version of Botox coming out, and it's 25% cheaper. So they're sweetening the pot where I don't know what's in it, but Botox has human blood in it, and it also has lactose. So when is the last time that you went to your injector, whomever that is, and they said, hey, are you lactose intolerant? Hey, are you X whatever religion that does not want to have blood injected inside of you? No one's talking about it. They just say it's Botox and it doesn't leave that area. And when I last heard that, and I was getting PRP, plasma-rich platelet technology at my local med spa here, and it was the third time they said, no, Botox doesn't spread. I'm like, I'm going to challenge you guys on this. You show me an article that says it doesn't spread. And in 2009, the FDA even put it on their label and says that it does. So your injector may not even be informed. Your all-knowing, extremely wealthy, super successful, all kinds of perfect face results on, surgeon may not even know themselves because they're fed something completely different. So you guys get to decide what you do with information. And I just think this, how logical is it, regardless of what the science says, to inject ourselves with the #1 most toxic substance known to man?
Yeah, and the training is done by Allergan. It's done by the pharmaceutical companies. So the information can be kind of somewhat limited. Yep. But let's talk. So you posted a summit. It's called the Non-Toxic Beauty Summit, and I'm so glad you're doing this because you just touch on so many different topics related to toxic beauty. Can you talk about some of them that you discuss in this online free event?
Yeah, sure. That Wendy's part of. So Wendy's
Yes.
our superstars talking about, of course, like there's heavy metals in so many things. 95% of lipstick has lead in it. And the majority of sunscreens today have oxybenzone in it. And Hawaii in 2 years is banning any kind of oxybenzone products. Not yet California. They may be after that, or America may be after that. But why would they ban those products? Why would they ban those ingredients? Oxybenzone is responsible for killing the majority of the sea life that we've got, specifically coral. And I'm a scuba diver, so I've seen the degradation of underneath the water, and it frustrates me to see that our chemical convenient use is destroying Mother Nature. Because if we don't have a home here on Mother Nature, on Mother Earth, where do we go? We go to the soil. I don't know, we go to Mars, but we're friends with Elon Musk or something. Maybe they know something we don't, right?
Yeah, the coral reefs take 100 years to regenerate. I mean, that's just not happening.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time, and plastic is another one. Plastic is plastic. There's micro fragments of plastic in so many things, and many of the things that we get today, skincare products, are contained in plastic, and that can leach, into the body. That can leach into the product and then into the body. So 60 to 70% of things we put onto our skin within 30 to 60 seconds become a part of us. And we're seeing things like phthalates and parabens. And phthalates are, just so you guys know, phthalates are what makes a fragrance, let's say, stick to you. So, when you use certain products to make your hair smell good or your body smell good, or if you don't feel like taking a shower, you just spray some perfume, take a little ghetto shower. What makes that fragrance linger? I've done it. Hey. What makes it linger is phthalates. It sticks to you. It's like Velcro, right? And then fragrance could be contained of thousands of different synthetic and artificial ingredients that they say are proprietary formulas. So you got fragrance. So what we talk to you guys about is how to look at and look for products that are good for you, not just products, but ingredients. We don't want you to become like some chemical engineer and know every single thing, but we're simplifying it with you and for you because there's so many overwhelming pieces to this. And not just products, but then we also have beauty blockers. So it's not just like what products could I use, what cosmetics, are the cleanest. It's also beauty blockers. So beauty blockers can be breast implants, it could be Botox, and we think we're more beautiful because of them. But it could also be something in your mouth. 80% of disease begins in the mouth. And 86% of people who have had a wisdom tooth pulled have an oral cavitation. And what that means is if you have an oral cavitation somewhere back here, then it is draining some part of your organ, and it could be causing a misfire where your organ is just constantly just working hard, and that could be the main drain. And if you address that, then you have energy gain again, and you don't have as much weight gain. So there's so many things. It's also like, where does autoimmune disease begin? It starts with toxic chemicals we're exposed to. Where are we exposed to them? Beauty care products, the things we put on in and around our body, of course. We're also talking about the things that can reverse these things. So the same things that can build your beauty are the same things that can also build your energy and your vitality and reverse disease. So it's very overwhelming to think, oh, I have this one condition, I'm going to go fix this one condition, when your body really is just a big, beautiful tree. And if we go to the roots and we address all of this and clean up your beauty care routine, but specifically clean up the thoughts that you think on a regular basis that tell yourself that you're not beautiful as you are, that you're not enough, that you're not lovable, that you need to continue to poke, prod, and perfect your body and your face in order to be seen, loved, and cherished. And this is a major fundamental flaw in our culture, and that's what I'm challenging more than anything else. So we do have a lot of mindset work, emotional work in there, how to get free from the prison of these thoughts, and how to hypnotize yourself into believing that you're beautiful enough and confident as you are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just so much of this thousands and tens of thousands of dollars that women spend on these med spa treatments and plastic surgeries and doing things that can make them look worse, even that can harm them and make them sick or dying to be beautiful. And, I think women have to question, like, why are they doing this? Who are they doing it for? Are they doing it because because I at one point said, I'm just not going to look at magazines anymore. I'm tired of seeing these fake ass magazines with these fake women that have like spent hours and hours in makeup and hair, someone touching them up for hours and hours. And like, why am I you just feel bad about yourself.
And you were a model, you were in that industry.
Yeah. I mean, definitely for a short time, but it's just, but even when I was doing that, I was throwing up and starving myself and, doing all these things that was really, really harmful. Some models have holes in their heart and because they starved themselves for so long. I mean, all those women are not healthy. But it's just really sad. I just felt sorry for myself or sad for my old self that I felt the need to harm my body and just to cut it and slash it and burn it into perfection or to try to
choke it.
Yeah.
Like literally, I mean, we have that in there too. So thanks for reminding me too, Wendy. We talk about disordered eating in there too, and eating disorders and how to free yourself from them. So it's not just one thing. It's also how to build your butt. It's, how to have, good posture getting a 6-pack and sexy belly without doing a sit-up. There's all kinds of stuff like that in there because you can have this, what you're after, you can have it, but it doesn't need to be so harsh. It doesn't need to be so toxic.
Yeah.
So if it's coming from, and also what you were saying, I stopped looking at magazines because they were making me feel bad. Well, look no further than Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Sometimes it's just, I don't do Instagram either because I'm old. I do Facebook. I'm just like, Instagram, what? I don't get it. But I like.
I'm old.
So all my 50 and older ladies like myself are on Facebook. I'm 47, but I'm getting there. So
yeah, close. It's round up. But you hear it all the time, Wendy, you're beautiful. You don't look that way. And I think a big part of what you wear in your skin that makes you so beautiful and glowy is that you live with purpose and on purpose, and you're in service, and you love what you do, and you love helping the people, and we appreciate that. And it feels really good to give. And that feels good to receive, knowing that you're helping people.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it just I love in both of us. I mean, I love. We've talked about this before. I love to be able to help people, and walk the walk too, for sure. But let's talk about breast implant illness.
Sure.
So, well, first, tell us the website where we can join the summit, where people can register for free to listen to these 40 different experts. Oh, is there a link right here? Okay, great. Yeah, here. Yeah, so join me. It says join me live. No, this is not the right link. So I don't know what that is. But yeah, I don't care. Just tell us what the URL is. To join.
Non-toxic beauty summit.
Great, fantastic. So nontoxicbeautysummit.com. So go there, register for free. It's totally free. So it starts next week, right?
No, March 9th. We still have a little
March 9th. Okay, fantastic. Yep. Yeah. So you can register now, and then you'll start getting the emails to get like your free registration gifts, a couple talks. You can get started right away. And then it starts on March 9th. So let's talk about breast implant illness. This is something that, I had my breast implants removed, and I'll tell that story in a minute, but you also had your breast implants removed. Tell us about that. What kind of triggered your kind of decision to have your implants surgically removed?
Yeah, I was talking about this today. There is a long history of slow symptoms and conditions that started just to ramp up with me, and I couldn't pinpoint it. When I first got them in 2011, I was doing bodybuilding competitions. I was doing bikini competitions, and so that's just what you do on stage. You get down to 10% body fat. Speaking of body dysmorphia and body disorders, right, Wendy? Like that's kind of a disorder. To get to 10% body fat is not healthy for a woman. I would not take back any of this stuff, but that's when I got my breast implants because I didn't have any boobs really because I lost a lot of my fat. So from that point moving forward, I started developing a lot of belly bloat, SIBO. I couldn't really figure out why I had it. My bowels were bipolar, I call it. Like I would go from constipation to diarrhea. Sorry guys if that's TMI, but it's not pleasant, right? I mean, the majority of people have some sort of gut issues, but it's embarrassing to talk about. So I didn't know what was going on. I had hormonal issues. I also had I was using birth control at the time. I had an IUD in. So I was also on Depo-Provera. So I thought to myself, okay, because the research, right, Wendy, like the research was out there, and I was like, okay, well, what's causing my symptoms? And so I thought it was birth control because that was the hot topic. Like, oh, birth control is bad for you. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take out my IUD then, and that's it. And I did a big video on that, and I helped a lot of women with that. And then I just kept getting sicker and sicker, and not actually sicker and sicker, but what was happening is that I was battling my inflammation the whole time. It was like there was an arsonist inside of me. There was two of them, and they were just essentially lighting my body on fire all day. And I was just fighting, like spending a lot of money and time and energy and lots of labs and lots of doctor visits and lots of supplements and lots of detox hacks and all these things. And I was just basically managing my inflammation until about 3 years ago when things just got worse. That was also when I started doing Botox. So I think that my cuppeth just like, not just spilled over, but like a volcano exploded. And so at that point, I was talking to you. I had started to see on the internet that breast implant illness was a thing. And I was like, oh God, I really don't want to see that. But like my boobs feel fine, you know, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, they look fine. How could it be my boobs? But really, it's just not just because you have like let's say a symptom down there, like your foot, doesn't mean that it can't be referring from somewhere else in your body. So I had to dive deep and I had to really ask myself, who are you without your fake boobs? Are you confident without them? Because I remember when I got them, how confident I was. And they say 90% of women who get them report being confident after they get them.
And I got mine, I was like, yes. I was like, I felt so much more like a woman. I was only 19, but I just, my poor 19-year-old brain, I was so happy. I felt like, no, I felt attractive finally, like men were going to be more interested in me. And really the only thing that changed was men would be like, hi, and then look directly at my breasts. And like, that's the only thing that changed. And then I'd meet guys that were like, I don't like fake boobs. Like most of the guys didn't like them. I'm like, well, wait a second.
I can't return them, so I don't know. Wait a second.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
I know. And that's actually, I commend them because there's a lot of men now who have been conditioned the same way that we have, that we need to poke and prod and perfect our bodies in order to be seen. And really, it's a competition thing. Is that if everybody else is doing it, you have to stay in line with the competition. And you're less than if you're not. And like Linda's saying over here, I hate them. I got them, I hate my breast implants, but I got them for whatever reason. And we all have our reasons, but we've all been culturally conditioned that is a reason to get them. So Linda, in my book, and it's coming out next month, or actually April 4th, Killer Breasts. And in my book, I talk about how I got my breast explant covered. It would have been a $5,000 procedure, maybe a little bit more, but I only paid like $160 or something like that. Mm. So these insurance companies and this company who created breast implants needs to pay. So there are ways that you can apply to get them paid for, but you've got to be persistent and you've got to believe that you're worthy of receiving something. So you don't have to be a bitch about it, right? Because I see people being a bitch about it, but you just have to be able to have all your records together. Anyway, I digress. You can get them covered. And a lot of women, 70% of women report when they get them taken out that their 70% of their symptoms have gone away. There's still lingering symptoms, especially for women who have had autoimmune disease in the past, have a history of it, have it in their medical history, have it in their family history, or someone who is on mood-altering medications, or someone who has had a history of suicide. Because these things, depression, suicide, amplifies much higher for women who have breast implants. We're not sure if it's because that woman was already that way before and she got implants because she was insecure, but now also consider women who have breast cancer. And then what they do after. There are reconstructive options that do not need to be toxic breast implants. And I'll say one more thing. If you guys can go to my website and you can see like literally pictures of my boobs, but I cover them up with like little flowers. So it's just, you can see the shape of them, because one of the concerns that I had before I took mine out was like, oh my God, I'm going to look so weird. And
we were texting about that. Or like, yours look okay? I'm like, I'm super happy because I thought I was going to have Franken boobs. Like exactly. I literally thought I was going to have like all these scars and cuts on them that are going to look weird, and then they were going to just not be desirable at all. But I'm actually really happy with them. I'm super happy.
I love them. Wendy, I get more compliments on my radiance now than I've ever gotten. So for those out there who are like, no, I love my implants. I don't know about you, but I mean, everything has changed for me since I got these things out. I'm not as irritable. I'm not as like things don't annoy me as much as it was before. When I'm supposed to fall asleep, I get tired. Before I was like wired until like 1, 2. I had to take things to make me fall asleep. I had estrogen dominance because there's xenoestrogens. Breast implants are xenoestrogens, which means they mimic your own estrogen and forcing you to produce more because your own production of estrogen can't get in the cells. So those plastic, parabens, phthalates, breast implants, those things block the receptor sites so your own estrogen can't get in. So there's a lot of cleansing involved after you get them out as well. I had silicone coming out my stool. I believe it was silicone. Can't say for sure, but I can send you the video. You know, who knows what it was, but I know what candida looks like. This looked just like silicone, and my dog ate my implants, so I could see the fluid on the inside.
Yeah, I got a breast exam. It was a Sonacine breast exam for just to check, because you know, a woman with breast implants can't get mammograms. The mammograms, yeah, they can't. Well, one, they can pop the implant. I had 2 friends that the implant was popped. That's just 2 girlfriends in my small circle. And the mammogram popped their implant, plus the mammogram can't see through it. So I was like, no point in doing that. Not to mention
55% reduction.
Yeah, not to mention mammograms cause cancer. So I went to the Sonacine, and then they saw that there was silicone surrounding the tissue of the implant. And so then I thought, oh my God, I have to have these removed. Then I did within a month, I had them removed.
Good for you. That's awesome, because a lot of people ask, well, how can I tell if silicone has migrated? And that's one way to do it.
Yeah. They said it looks kind of like sand or something, and the tissue surrounding the implant. I'm not 100% definitive, diagnosis, but good. The guy's been doing this for 30 years. So yeah, and I can say also, like, I feel so much better since I had my implants out. I feel like my energy is better. I used to like my brain. I just feel more clear. I feel happier. I like my body better. I just my life definitely took a positive turn when I had mine removed almost 3 years ago now.
Yay! We need to have anniversaries.
Yes, the explant anniversary.
Yes, the explant anniversary, and next month is Breast Implant Awareness Illness Month. Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah, and so. When my talk on your summit, on the non-toxic beauty summit, we got really, really personal. I got more personal than I've really kind of ever gotten, like speaking on one of these online summits. And so if you guys want to learn more about that story, my personal story, sign up for the nontoxicbeautysummit.com, correct? So sign up for that and register, and you guys can listen to my talk about my plastic surgery nightmares and kind of what I went through with breast implants and whatnot. But let's answer a couple of questions here. We have a couple of people that. So Melissa Dumas from Sydney, thank you so much for joining us. And so Linda Winchell, I've had mine since the 70s. Ooh, one of the pioneers.
Ooh, girlfriend. Hey, Linda says, I'm 72, so what's the point? Why bother? I've got about 5 minutes left, Wendy, so let's rock through these questions.
Okay, let's do it, yeah.
I'm 72. Linda, what's the rest of your life worth?
Yeah.
Because
you can live another 20 years.
Yep.
I mean, it's never too late. My mom got married at 73. So, so it's like you have a whole other life ready to live.
Depends on how you see it.
Yeah. So Linda, hate them but can't afford to get them removed. So Diane was talking about how you can, push to get them removed. And so I'm sure maybe you have a post on your site or podcast about that or something.
Yeah, I talk about it on a lot of my blogs and my podcasts. I also talk about it in my book. There are ways that you can push for that. But you've got to work with a surgeon who cares about you and who believes in explant surgery and who will write you a letter. And so that's really important. And they have to also know what conditions the insurance company approves explant procedures. And it's specifically capsular contracture, grade 4 or above is where insurance will consider approving it, right? And what that means essentially is that the capsule that your body formed around the implants, because the body goes, that's not native. I'm going to surround these implants with this material to keep it, away from self. It starts to morph the tissues and pull. This is what happened to me. My ribs were completely out of place. There was no amount of chiropractic adjustments that would put my ribs back in place. My shoulders I'm still going through it, Wendy. I pinched nerve in my right neck now. My body's trying to find its way back home. because breast implants roll your shoulders forward, and your whole spine gets pulled forward.
Yeah,
And
I
then
had that
and-
too. Also, for years, like you're kind of like trying to hide them or something. I had that too. Yeah. Yeah, I had that. And I think also I have a girlfriend that's dealing with that right now. She's got like a calcium shell around one of the implants that's like squeezing it and constricting it, and it's fusing to her ribs.
Yep, that's what happened to me.
Which is actually a life-threatening condition. So she already had a surgery for that. She has to have another one. I'm like, honey, just get them out.
Totally. It adheses to all of our ribs. Like the material around the breast implants that our body like forms, it adheres to all of our ribs. So that it takes a skilled surgeon to know how to go in and clean that stuff out.
Yeah, yeah. And so one more question here. So Char, so I had reactions to fillers. I thought it was just me. I had racing heart, couldn't sleep, so I had to get them dissolved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there a question?
Yeah. So maybe any thoughts on fillers, or I mean, we don't know what kind of filler you had. I mean, there's like Rejuviderm, and then there's silicone fillers and things like that, but just not sure what kind you had, Char.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Diane, thanks for coming on. I know you have to go. It's a hard stop here. So thanks for coming on to talk to us about toxic beauty, and you talk in your summit all about this umbrella topic about how women are dying to be beautiful. And so tell us where we can join right now for free.
Sure. nontoxicbeautysummit.com. And if you guys have any questions about the Botox and the story and the symptoms or anything too, I did a whole podcast on that too. I think Wendy and I are going to do something as well. Yes. So just go to DianeKazer.com, just in the menu, click on podcast, and you'll see the most recent episode.
Yeah, we're going to do a podcast on that for sure, and do a deep dive on Botox.
Yes.
Because that's a lot of women are doing that. Millions of women. No one is saying they're bad. It's just amazing to me. I've been searching for years for someone to discuss that, and just no one will for some reason.
I will.
So Diane, thanks for coming on. Everyone, thanks for tuning in today to the Facebook Live. We're here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. So Diane, where can we find you? Where's your site?
DianeKazer.com. DianeKaZ like zebra ER.com. And you can see all my social media handles from there.
Okay, great. So everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Cool. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.